Alright guys, it's Matt, and for this week's book vlog, we're going to talk about The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Sorry about that. It's by Robert Louis, I think it's Louis, sorry, Stevenson, and we're just going to get straight into talk about the book. One thing I want to mention first is the meaning I got from the book. A lot of other people would get different meanings, but what I got, it's closely relating to more to Hyde. But what I got was, it was a saying, it's a really old saying, it's don't judge a book by its cover, in the sense that you can't just look at someone and just judge based off their looks. You never really know what's going on, which is what I kind of got when they first introduced Hyde, because, I mean, the first impression is everything that was being described, it was by Utterson. We don't really get a really close-to-close, like face-to-face type of introduction with him. So, everything that we're seeing in the beginning is just descriptions. So in the beginning, not a very good look. Hyde tramples over a young girl, shows not little to no remorse. He shows no remorse at all, actually. Showing no remorse, no empathy, just nothing, just acting like it's just a normal day for him after what he committed, and just acting like it's just, you know, the norm, like an everyday, day-to-day basis. It also goes more into depth about human nature, identity, and every person has a good and a bad side to themselves. Basically, like an angel and a devil on your shoulder telling you what's good and what's wrong, or what's bad and what's right. Basically, that's where, in the sense, the don't judge a book by its cover comes in from. It was just relating to Hyde, which is what I got from. Another thing I want to mention is the use of enigmas in the story, which is used a lot, which is mysteries. Which in the first book vlog I mentioned that I like, my genre is like horror, or like any type of situation where we're just like in a confused mentality, which is what we were placed in a lot during the book. Back to the mysteries. One of the things was the strange connection that we didn't really know between Jekyll and Hyde. There was little bits and pieces that we were getting that they were connected, but we never really got the full picture, the full story of how they were connected, or like how they knew each other, you know, what they played in each other's life, or like any of that. So there was a scene. Oh yeah, sorry. There was a specific scene that stood out to me. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. There was a specific scene that stood out to me. It was when Dr. Lanyon, I think that's how you say his name, right? Lanyon. Him and Jekyll were together, and out of nowhere, Jekyll just starts transforming into Hyde. And right off the bat, Lanyon is shocked, you know, lost for words, because, I mean, someone's transforming right in your face to someone else. That's kind of, who wouldn't be shocked? And it is a really important scene because it shows this whole time Jekyll and Hyde have been the same like the person the whole entire time, which it really shows how far Hyde has gone into his experiments, which are far more dangerous than Lanyon would ever agree to, because he focuses more on, you know, ethical stuff for the people, while Jekyll is really more just selfish, and he wants everything. He wants to be the ruler of everything. He wants to just control everything and, you know, have control over everyone. Another thing I want to put out there is the character of Hyde. You know, throughout the book, everyone is really off-put by him. Like, they're very disturbed by his presence. But then once they describe him, they as a really welcoming, down to earth, always trying to help kind of person. Which is kind of weird because they don't give a lot of evidence to why people feel that way towards him or when they're around him. So it's just more mysteries on what has he done to make people feel like that around him, which, you know, it's kind of interesting. It makes me want to keep reading more. And I would say there was some use of supernatural. I mean, throughout the book, there was a lot of characters that are complaining about the appearance of Hyde and saying that they can't really put their finger on what's wrong with him, but it's just not usual. It's unusual for someone to have, you know, a deformity the way he did, or, you know, it was just unnatural, and it was more supernatural than it being kind of changed by someone else, which, you know, was also kind of scary for the people, which is why they could have felt, you know, disturbed. You know, they had a bad gut feeling about him and just felt off-putting by him. and then I guess back to the don't judge a book by its cover. In reference to that, it was all just because, like I said in the book, it explains that Jekyll is, he's always there to help. He's very welcoming. He's kind of nice, but the other side, there's a weird part of him that no one knows, which I mean, throughout as we read, we can tell that Jekyll's obviously, or Jekyll Hyde, the same person. They're obviously the villain, which I mean, it's confusing because he's a villain. We all know he's a villain at the end, but then he's acting, very nice and very calm. So that's why you can never really tell. But then into the book, it talks about, he's guilty. He feels bad. Not that he feels bad, but he's trapped and he needs help. He asks for help, and you never really know what they're going through. I mean, he was in a really bad situation where he just wanted to be free. I can't really get into detail about it's because it's my first time reading about the book or reading the book, and so I haven't really. I don't know if there's a movie or a show about it, so I can't really get into detail about that. I don't know how similar or different it is to each other. So, but yeah, besides that, I really think the book was really good. I enjoyed it. The way the plot, everything was put out together. It was just shocking to find out they're the same person. There was a lot of things went into it to make it a really good book. The structure, the way it was organized, the plots, everything up to the climax, everything. I think it was just a great book, and yeah.